Hi there, this is Andrea from Drea Renee Knits, and I am going to do a little bit of a longer video so that you can watch as I carry my yarns up the edge. And I'm also going to continue to show the two-color brioche for anyone who wants just a little bit longer of a visual to watch. I'm going to do one whole row English, and then I'll do the other side. I'll do both passes Continental so that you can see it all in whichever style that you knit. So I am going to join in my next color, starting with my color B. So to do that, I need to slip these 3 stitches, my I-cord stitches, out of the way. I already demonstrated this in a previous video, but we'll show it one more time. And I just take my tail and place it between stitches, these 3 I-cord stitches and the 4th stitch. So there's my tail. And now I can slip my I-cord stitches back and they are ready to be knit. So I said I would do this one English. There we go. So here's my new color B. And I'm going to knit my 3 I-cord edge stitches, and then we're into the brioche. So I'm going to slip one yarn over, brioche knit these 2 strands together, tighten up my little tail a little bit, and I'm going to continue that way all the way across. Slip one yarn over, brioche knit. The shorthand for brioche knit is BRK, so sometimes you'll hear that referred to as bark. So slip one yarn over, bark, slip one yarn over, bark. Now as you can see from my English knitters, I bring my yarn forward, slip my stitch, and then I just go ahead and brioche knit the next 2 strands, my little star-crossed lovers, because as I do that, since my yarn's already in front, as I do that, it magically creates my yarn over for me. So I just bring my yarn forward, slip my stitch, and then bark, and my yarn over was created for me. All right, continuing across, slip one yarn over, bark, slip one yarn over, bark, slip one yarn over, bark, slip one yarn over, bark. It's really helpful, I think, for people to say their steps out loud. I think it kind of helps it click for us. So if you've been having trouble, try saying it out loud. You know, whatever your little script may be. So for you, you might want to say yarn forward, slip, bark. Or you might just want to say what I was saying, slip one yarn over, bark. Okay, almost done here. Slip one yarn over, bark. 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 And now I'm to my last 4. So for this slip one yarn over, I do need to actually complete it by wrapping my yarn around so that my yarn's back and front to slip my last 3 stitches for the I-cord. And now I need to do the second pass of this row, so row B. So I slide my needle through and bring my yarn back to this end. Some people have asked, how do you keep your yarns organized? There's been some great tips in the forums. Some people use baggies. To be honest, I just kind of take my time. You know, before each step, I just kind of get my yarn balls organized. So this one needs to be over there out of my way. And I've got these 2 hanging out over there. If I feel like they're starting to get tangly, I kind of pull in the slack a little so that it's easier to see what's going on. And now I can see, oh, I can cross that one over the top to keep those 2 kind of clear of each other. And that's all I do. You know, the fading sections are pretty short, so you kind of only have to deal with that tangly bit for a little bit. But all right, now I'm gonna add in my next color. So color E. Yep, color E for my B pass of this row. And for this, you can just add in your yarn however you typically like to add in yarn when you're changing colors, or let's say you ran out of yarn, you have to add in a new ball of yarn. It's nothing different to that. You want to slip your first 3 stitches of your I-cord out of the way because we don't work those on our B rows. So I can just slip those out of the way. And then my first stitch here that I'm going to have to do is brioche purl. So what I like to do is I just go ahead and insert my needle into my strands so that they're ready to purl, brioche purl, and then I just grab my new yarn and loop it onto my needle, and I just go ahead and brioche purl. And then as far as my old colors, which we're still going to be using a little bit, I just keep them right where they were. As far as where their strands were laying, I just let them be. All right, so let's brioche purl across this row. So my yarn's already forward. I'm ready to slip one. And for English knitters, for your purl row, you need to now complete your yarn over. So my yarn was forward. I slipped that stitch purlwise, and now I'm going to wrap a little yarn over shawl around its shoulders. And now my yarn's back and front, ready to brioche purl my little star-crossed lovers. Yarn's already in front, so I can just slip one, yarn over, brioche purl, and I'm going to continue that way all the way across. Slip one, yarn over, brioche purl, 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 all the way across. Slip one yarn over, brioche purl, or you could just say slip one yarn over, burp. The shorthand for brioche purl is BRP, so slip one yarn over, burp. It's always funny when somebody's listening in to you when you're brioching and they just hear all these barks and burps going on. Slip one yarn over, brioche purl, 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 slip one yarn over. Now, if you ever get to the end on your B pass row and you only see a single stitch there, it's probably that you forgot to complete the yarn over. So you could even slip it back over, complete your yarn over with that first color, and then it'll be back how it should be. And then it's ready to brioche purl. All right, now I just let this B color fall, which is my color D, but for my B row, I just let it fall to the front because I was brioche purling, and that's where it needs to be. Because on the next row, I'm gonna be knitting with it and I'll want it in the back. So I can go ahead and turn my work. So again, to keep my colors organized, what I do when I turn my work is I would then bring my previous colors over to the side to keep them from getting tangled. And again, wind up any extra slack that might be getting in your way. So now those ones are out of my way, and I'm going to continue working with these two. And I just find having a surface to work on in these times, either on the sofa on either side of your lap or on a table, just kind of keeping them in their little relative corners really helps so that it doesn't feel too crazy. I wouldn't suggest working out of your project bag for this portion of the pattern because then they can really get kind of crazy. All right, so this row I'm going to work in Continental since we just did the previous 2 passes of the other row in English style knitting. So I'm going to go ahead and knit my edge stitches. If I don't drop my yarn. All right. Some people are asking how loose to make your I-cord. It can be pretty loose because as you knit, it's going to really snap into place. So it's better for it to be loose than too tight. All right, so for this row, I need to start with a slip one, yarn over, and then a burp or brioche purl. Let's see if I can get this camera to focus a little closer. All right, so yarn forward, slip one, and Continental knitters, you can actually kind of just grab your working yarn with your needle tip for your slip one, yarn over. So it's slip one, yarn over, and then bring it back to the front to brioche purl these 2 strands together. And then it's already in front for your next slip one, yarn over. So slip one, grab it with your needle tip, brioche purl. And if you don't want to just grab it, then you can just have it in front, slip, and then just finish your yarn over and brioche purl. Slip, 1 yarn over, burp, slip 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 1 yarn over, burp. You always know to slip your single guys because they want a honey, and you always work your double strands together because those are our star-crossed lovers and we never want to break them up. Slip 1 yarn over, burp, slip 1 yarn over, burp, slip 1 yarn over, burp. You guys might hear my family, they just are coming in from a walk. Slip 1 yarn over, burp. Oh, sorry, did I give a lot of focus? There we go. Slip 1 yarn over, burp. Hi, Fargo. Slip 1 yarn over, burp. And now we're to the end. So I slip my last stitch, complete the yarn over, and now I'm ready to slip these last 3 for my I-cord. And so now I'm going to go ahead and lift this guy out of the way so he doesn't want to tangle up with my other yarns. So you can kind of see I have them just all lined up together. And now slide back down. And we are ready to work the B row. Again, I'll work this part Continental. So this is going to be, the B row on the wrong side is barking. So I'm going to go ahead and slip my edge stitches out of the way because those are only ever worked on an A row. And we are going to go ahead and brioche knit our first 2 strands. And then slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit, yarn forward, slip and grab, brioche knit. So with that slip and grab, I make that little yarn over. So yarn forward, slip and grab, bark. Yarn forward, slip and grab, bark. Yarn forward, slip and grab, bark. And I'm going to continue that all the way across. There we go. Yarn forward, so for my slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit, slip 1 yarn over, brioche knit. So I like to say, slip and grab, bark, 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 and I'm at the end. So because I was brioche knitting, I want to drop that strand to the back. Don't try and bring it forward. Let it fall where it needs to, and then slip my last 3 edge stitches. There we go. So now I need to turn my work. Now you can see you kind of have 2 ways to turn it. You can turn it like this, or you can turn it this way. Depending on which way you turn it, it's gonna spiral all of your strands around each other. So if I try to turn it this way, they're gonna kind of want to wind up with each other. Where if I turn it around this way, I can just rotate them all back over to the other side with me to keep them from getting tangled. So I can move this one over here. And then this is the one that I just finished using. I'm gonna put these 2 right there. And then my other 2 are over here. So it's just kind of like, if you just take care of it instead of, sometimes we want to just keep on going. If you just take that quick minute to make sure everything's untangled, it'll save you some detangling later on. So now I'm back to using these 2 colors. So a lot of you are like, well, how do I carry it up the side? You really just carry it straight up. Sorry, knocking my camera there. So the first color I'm going to use is Egg Yolk, which is my color A. And I have it all ready here. I'm actually going to get that one over there for me. All right, so it's hanging out back here where I left it, okay? To start using it again, I really am just going to pull it up. And I want to be loose because this is my I-cord edge. So I'll give it like a little slack like that. Kind of pull up on it just so I know, okay, yeah, that's going to reach up there. And I'm going to knit my 3 side stitches, my I-cord edging here. And don't worry too much if you're like, oh, this looks kind of funky. If you look in the spoiler 1 clue thread, I actually showed you, you can't even see it. As that I-cord builds, it's just gonna all snap together. And it really will hide your ends. And it's actually a great way to weave in your ends. At the end, you can even just pull them right into the I-cord, because basically what an I-cord does is it makes a little tube. So then I would just continue to knit my row. So for this one, I'm going to need to increase. I already brought my yarn forward for this slip 1 yarn over. So slip 1 yarn over, and then I'm going to bark, yarn over, bark. And again, what you can kind of do as you go along, you know, when you first do it, some things might get a little loose. You can just kind of tug on them to tighten them back up, but it's going to be all good. Don't have to overthink it too much. And then for my other color, let me go a few stitches in, and then I'm going to show you that other color, bringing that back up. So I've got a slip 1 yarn over, bark 1, slip 1 yarn over, bark 1, slip, bark. All right, that's good. I'm just going to go ahead and slip these onto my other needle just so I can show you that other color. We're going to pretend I had finished that whole row since this video is already like 20 minutes long. So anybody still watching, good on ya. Oops. Okay. There we go. So now I need to bring my color E back. And I just kind of go through and make sure it's not twisting up with any of my strands. You could even weave in your tails if you want to get those out of the way. The only time I wouldn't suggest that is if you're still kind of getting the hang of brioche and you think you might need to tink back at all. You wouldn't really want your ends woven in yet then in that case. So kind of up to you. If you're feeling good about it, go ahead and just weave them in and get them out of the way. So This one's all the way down here. And we're gonna be doing, and it's in the front where I need it because we're gonna brioche purl with this. So that's why you just always leave them where they are supposed to be in the pattern. So if you're, you know, knitting or purling, just let them fall where they naturally want to fall. And we need to slip our 3 edge stitches out of the way. Sorry, let me get that to focus on there. There we go. All right, I'm going to slip these 3 edge stitches out of the way. And then I need to brioche purl these first 2 stitches. I'm sorry, first 2 strands. It's only considered 1 stitch. And so I just loosely, I'm going to pull that up to brioche purl those. And then what I like to do is I like to just kind of go like that and make sure that there's enough slack. And now I'm ready to slip 1 yarn over and brioche purl. Oh, this is actually a purl because this is an increase. And slip 1 yarn over, brioche purl. And I could continue right along. So that's all it was, is just pulling that yarn up, and it's all gonna get hidden. It'll be all tucked up really nice next to that I-cord. I promise you won't see it. And I mean, looking through mine, I actually had to really like spread everything out to find it. And so you will have some where you have to go up actually what feels like 4 rows. And again, you're just gonna pull that strand right up, the front or the back, wherever it naturally was lying, and it's gonna roll in and be just fine. You can already see that that yellow that I pulled up from before, it's just gonna roll right in once you do the next one. It's gonna keep, your I-cord just continues to roll that way, and it'll hide them all for you. So don't worry too much about it. I hope that this was helpful and also getting another view of the brioche, and I'll see you guys back in the forums. Bye.